I think there's still some unknowns with San Diego. Obviously, new manager, a lot of new players. Some really good quality European players who have come over and come over to challenge themselves in the most competitive league, and the same for the manager. So we're excited of what this game can propose for us. But again, we're at home. We want to, set the tone early. I know San Diego have had a lot of goals early on in games. We have to negate that with, our defensive responsibilities and our pressing triggers, but also play our game, which is ball possession, trying to create opportunities to score, and so it leads us to an exciting game on Saturday.
Great, thanks, Seb. Go ahead.
It's a noon kickoff. Can't remember the last time you guys have had a kickoff so early. How much of an adjustment do you have to make just in terms of game preparation for the players as well, and just in terms of getting ready so much earlier to play a game at noon?
Yeah, it's certainly different. Not something that I've experienced over here in Orlando in the last 10 years as a player and as a coach. But listen, we train early. We've had preseason games early as well, so we'll look at it the same way as we've done with training and games, and make sure everyone's prepared to go out there and get 3 points.
Kind of going off of the last game, you guys have had a very good start to the season. What have you kind of been impressed with the most just from the last two games?
Just our continuation of what we built last year and previous years of every game looks different, every half is different. I thought we were phenomenal in the first half, created some really good opportunities. Obviously, we would like to have capitalised on them a little bit more, but to go 2-0 up against a good Gotham side away from home, which is obviously a difficult place for us to go play, was really encouraging. And then towards the end, just to see out the clean sheet and defensively be solid and not give up too many clear-cut opportunities. I think a lot of Gotham shots came from distance, which a lot of the time we can take. But yeah, I was really pleased with the performance, and yeah, it probably doesn't get enough credibility going to a place like Gotham and getting 3 points and a clean sheet and scoring a couple of goals.
Being able to come back home now and like you said, playing against San Diego, where they've brought in a lot of different players, how much are you kind of able to glean from their past two games and what they're kind of bring to the table?
They got quality players. They got players who have played at the highest level in Europe. They've got a coach who has coached a really high quality team in England. So they have the experience from a footballing side, but coming to the US and the travel and coming to different climates and different kickoff times as well can be challenging, and so we want to make it as uncomfortable as possible for them. It's relatively new, but for us it's the norm, and we want to continue our home record, and no better way to do it against a good San Diego side.
You've obviously got a lot of depth within this team. You talked about the challenges of just being able to pick a starting 11 because of how many players are pushing each other. How impressed have you been just in terms of the quality that is kept over from last year, and even with some of the new players that have come in and really pushed some of the current starters into raising their level a bit?
Yeah, it's important for us to be successful. You have to have a stacked roster, and we certainly have that here. You have to deal with adversity. There'll be moments with injuries or international duty and stuff like that. So you need to have players who, when they're called upon, can do their job. And we've been really pleased with young players that have come in, senior players who are not as familiar with the league, and also players who may not have had as much opportunity last year, but they've been patient and start to get their opportunity coming into games. So we have to sustain a high level, a high standard, regardless of who's on the pitch.
I know as a coach, you're always looking for some little things on the pitch, and for 2 straight wins, it's kind of hard to nitpick a bit. But has there been anything that you've kind of seen in film now that you've gotten the chance to go over it, just of things that you might want to see the team improve on?
I think between the two games, it's been two very different performances. You know, you look back at the Chicago game, I thought we were very dominant in all sides of the game, in possession, out of possession, set pieces. You know, if you win 6-0, then it looks like a perfect game. I think the last game against Gotham, I thought we were great in that first half, and then showed a different side to us in the second half, being defensively solid, looking to counter-attack as players start getting more into their attack, with the likes of Barbara, Ali, Marty and Ange as our front line. And so, yeah, we've got so many layers to our game, so there's not a lot of negative. We've scored 8 goals in 2 games and not conceded, and we're scoring goals from different areas. So it's been very pleasing so far, but it's a long season, and we want to continue our momentum and just, again, refine those little aspects of our game a little bit more.
You kind of mentioned just having so many players getting called up to national teams. How happy have you been just seeing the fruits of these players' labors going, and now being able to get called into their respective national teams, and even with Zara now getting called into the U23s?
Yeah, it's good and bad, right? Because the players are getting acknowledged for all their work and their contributions on the field, and to represent your country is one of the biggest honours in anything. But also selfishly, you want to keep them here and make sure you're looking after them, and you have the right schedule and planning for them to go out each week to perform in NWSL. So yeah, it's great that they're going out and representing the countries, but also you want to keep them here and look after them so there's no unnecessary injuries on international duty.